What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel, and today it is time for predictions. Going to be predicting the standings for 2022, including division winners and wild cards. And then I'm going to give you a World Series matchup and a World Series champion. I'm not going to go through the whole playoff predictions preseason because honestly I'm probably going to get a lot of teams wrong. So then at the end of the year I'm going to have to redo that anyway. So I'm just going to stick to the standings this year and a World Series matchup, World Series champion. We're going to do that all right here, right now. Let's go!
He is stopping. He's going back. He's going to run down. Ball gets away. This one's over.
Oh my freaking goodness! But I got the Twins signing Carlos Correa.
Jed Passan has the Giants getting Chris Bryant. I am taking the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, let's get started with the American League East. By the way, if you love baseball and you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. Trying to grow the channel, doing big things here on the Humm Baby Baseball channel. I think you would enjoy it. We do documentaries, we do post-game shows, we do team previews, we do predictions. We just cover everything in baseball. So let's get started with the American League East right here. And I'm going to actually put the Baltimore Orioles in last, and I hate to do it, because it's such a classic team, and it's a shame that teams like the Orioles, teams like the Pirates just going to stink every year. But, I have some good young talent, but let's just be honest, there's just too much competition in the East. And in fourth place, unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Red Sox. And, Red Sox are a team that tends to surprise. Some years they'll just go win a World Series, and then some years they just fall apart. But even though they have an amazing infield, I get it. They signed Trevor Story. They got one of the best infields in baseball, if not the best. But I just don't really trust that pitching staff and that rotation. And, they have injuries. And, I'm just not convinced the Red Sox are that this is their year just yet. We'll have to wait and see what happens, though. But in third place, I'm going to put the New York Yankees only because I like the other two teams that much better. The Yankees do have some injuries to their rotation. I mean, obviously, they're a pretty well-stacked team, but I'm going to put the Tampa Bay Rays in second place, which I could regret because every time I do that, they end up winning the division. But this year, despite the Rays being really good with a good solid rotation, a good solid arms, and obviously they just know how to win, not to mention Wander Franco, who is just going to be amazing. Despite all that, I got to say the Toronto Blue Jays are winning this division. The Blue Jays picking up Kevin Gausman, picking up Kikuchi. They still have, Ryu, a really good rotation. They pick up Matt Chapman to add to that ridiculous lineup. Vlad Guerrero Jr., one of the best hitters in the game. And just a stacked lineup all the way around. The Blue Jays are going to be solid. They have completed the transition from a team not that great to a team that is, in my opinion, favorites to win this division and make a deep playoff run. The Toronto Blue Jays win the American League East. And that takes us to the Central. I hate to put the Royals in last because I do like the Royals. They bring back Zach Greinke, other than Greinke, a very good young rotation. And then you have the veteran Greinke at the top. But I just don't think it's strong enough to compete with these other teams. And, they have young guys like Bobby Witt Jr., but not quite ready yet. So I'm going to put the Royals in last. And in fourth, I'm actually going to go with the Twins. This is a surprising decision, but even though they land Correa, I think their rotation is questionable. I know they got Sonny Gray, but overall, I don't know. I don't think there's enough there with the pitching staff for the Twins to get back to a team that's going to compete to win the division. Been really high on the Twins for the last 2-3 years, but this year I think I'm going to predict them to finish in fourth because I really like the Detroit Tigers, and I think the Tigers are going to have a surprisingly good year this year. And I actually think that them and the Guardians are going to be, both be pretty good and compete for second place. Ultimately, I'm going to give the edge to the Guardians. I'll have the Tigers in third this year. A team that picked up Javi Baez, a team that has a ton of good young talent. Obviously, that talent is not going to be full-time in the big leagues this year, but by next year, look out. The Tigers are on their way. I think they could compete for a division championship, maybe even in 23, certainly 24. Look out for the Detroit Tigers. I'll have them in third this year, and I'm going to put the Cleveland Guardians in second place. I still like this team. Obviously, Jose Ramirez, obviously Franmil Reyes, and obviously this really good pitching staff I mean, it's not the best rotation in baseball, I don't think, but I actually like it. I think that some of these guys are going to have a really big years. I think Cal Quantrill is going to have a good year, and so is Plesac. Savali, Shane Bieber is, of course, incredible, and I think he's going to have a better year this year than he did in 21. Not that he was bad in 21. I mean, he was really good, but obviously in 2020 he was just flat out incredible, practically unhittable. But no, I like the Guardians, but the Chicago White Sox, to me, are the team to beat in the Central. I'm going to have them winning the division. They did lose Carlos Rodon to the Giants. Talk about that later, but you got Michael Kopech. He can take over there, and still got an amazing rotation. And you still got Luis Robert there, who's now, I think he's ready to break out and possibly win the MVP this year. If not, maybe it'll be Jose Abreu or another White Sox player. So this team is stacked. Obviously, Eloy Jimenez, Yasmani Grandal, Tim Anderson. Obviously goes on and on. A.J. Pollock is a guy they picked up in the trade with the Dodgers. And their bullpen, despite losing Craig Kimbrell, they needed to get rid of Craig Kimbrell because their bullpen was so stacked. They didn't need to pay all that money, and he didn't pitch that well for them anyway. The only issue, I mean, they lose Garrett Crochet to Tommy John. I just heard that yesterday, so that sucks. But I still think they're just stacked, and the Chicago White Sox are going to be division champions in 2022, according to my predictions. That takes us to the AL West, and unfortunately, the Oakland A's have decided to have a big garage sale. Everything goes. And maybe you should call it an estate sale because they may be passing away very soon and moving to Las Vegas. But I've heard lately promising news that they will be able to build a stadium in Oakland, but I'm not really sure what's going on. I haven't really looked into the news lately. But I do know that as far as baseball goes, they traded Chris Bassett. They traded Matt Chapman. They traded Matt Olson. And they may be trading other guys soon as well. And so they're in a complete rebuild, and I guess they're going to finish in last place. Next is actually tough. I'm going to say the Angels are going to be in fourth place. I mean, I understand they're stacked offensively. Rendon comes to mind. Trout comes to mind. Shohei Ohtani, who also is going to be in that rotation. Noah Syndergaard, I don't know, man. I don't know Noah Syndergaard, what he's got left. He's had Tommy John. He just hasn't, been great for a while, it feels like. So I don't know, but he's only 29, and if Syndergaard does come back and have a big season, okay, maybe they'll be better. But I'm still worried about the Angels. It just seems like their pitching is just never good enough. So until I see this team actually, come together and prove that they're a winning team, a winning organization, I'm just not convinced on the Angels yet. And I am going to put the Rangers in third. I think the Rangers are going to have a good year. I think their pitching is also questionable. I think John Gray is their ace right now. So the pitching staff, they got Dane Dunning. I like him. They picked up Martin Perez. But obviously their big moves were with that infield, picking up not one but two of the top 10 infield free agents, which is just absolutely incredible. Nobody would have thought that could happen with the Texas Rangers, but they were able to do that. They pick up, obviously, Corey Seager, which is just incredible, and then also Marcus Semien as well. So, look for the Rangers. I think just doing that, just making that effort and signing big-time names doesn't guarantee you a division championship or anything, but I think it's going to result in more wins than we've been seeing from the Rangers. And I do have them finishing in third place this year. As for the top two, it's between the Astros and the Mariners. I am going to say the Mariners are going to not win the AL West just yet, but they will very, very soon. The Mariners are on their way, but, with Jared Kelenic, with Julio Rodriguez on his way, with Jesse Winker, with, Eugenio Suarez, they have a lot of names there that they picked up, and then they have a really strong rotation, a strong bullpen. A lot of really good names for the Mariners, but I'm going to say the Astros are still the team to beat in the American League West, and they are still the team that I'm going to predict to win that division, with Justin Verlander coming back, with Kyle Tucker, with Yordan Alvarez, with Alex Bregman, and with just so much experience and World Series and playoff experience on that team. It's just a winning franchise. Not to mention Dusty Baker is the man with the plan. Although a lot of Astros fans don't really care for Dusty Baker. But hey, you can't argue with success last year. American League champions. They're going to try to win the World Series this year. and I think the Astros are favorites, and I'm going to put them as American League West champions. Moving on to the National League East, and in the cellar, in last place, let me check my notes. I believe it is the Nationals, and it is. That is who I have in last place, is the Washington Nationals. The rotation's just not there. I mean, with guys like Josiah Gray, he's a decent young arm, but then you got guys like Josh Rogers, Eric Fetty's going to be in their rotation probably, and Steven Strasburg's already having injury issues, and there's just not enough there for this team. They have some okay bullpen arms, Steve Cishek and Will Harris, but I just don't think there's enough there for the Nationals to compete at all in 2022. All due respect, Nationals fans. And in fourth place, I know it's probably the obvious pick, but I'm going to say the Miami Marlins. They got an exciting young rotation. I really like their rotation, and that's why I have them in fourth, not last. But the offense, it's okay. But obviously, Derek Jeter leaving the Marlins, bouncing out of there, tells me he doesn't think this team is I mean, if he thought this team was about to win a World Series or win a division or be really good, I don't think he would bounce. So I don't know. But I just looking at the roster itself, I got the Marlins in fourth place. And that leaves the Braves, Phillies, Mets. So I'm going to piss a whole fan base off now. And that fan base, I'm going to piss off. Sorry, New York Mets. I mean, y'all are spending money. Y'all have a team that's stacked with talent. You pick up Max Scherzer, which is great. But now Jacob deGrom has a stress fracture or a stress reaction or something. I don't know what the freak, but Jacob deGrom is out. So a shoulder injury of some kind. Jacob deGrom is out. He will be out for the first part of the season. He's going to be gone until I think June or so. That is just a massive blow. And unfortunately, the Mets, and what happened last year, even if y'all get off to a decent start or something, I mean, it's just they have a tendency to fall apart. I have a new manager in there. It could it's going to, I'm sure, make a big difference. I know the Mets have a different attitude going into this season, and that's great, but I really like these other two teams, and that includes my second place winner this year. And I wanted to put this team in first because I like their rotation, I like their lineup, I like their power. Their rotation their lineup is just boom, boom, it just hits. But they do have terrible defense, the Philadelphia Phillies, and I think that most likely case is they do finish in second place. I will have them in the playoffs. I do need to let y'all know I will be announcing the teams that are in the playoffs. The Phillies are one of them. I got them finishing in second place. The defense, I think, will cost them a few games. And, defense is not the biggest thing. I mean, these guys know how to catch a baseball and throw a baseball. I'm not saying they're the bad news bears out there, but, I mean, it's pretty atrocious when you look at their defense. But the Atlanta Braves are still the Atlanta Braves. Despite letting Freeman walk, they replace him with another guy who's, in some people's minds, better than Freddie Freeman. He's certainly younger. And he's very exciting, and he's awesome, and it's Matt Olson. So you replace Freeman with Olson, and you bring back a lot of the same guys. You bring up Kenley Jansen over, you bring Colin McHugh over, and all of a sudden the Braves are in a position where, unless they just partied all off season and have a huge hangover after the World Series championship, they should be able to repeat as division winners and make another big run in the playoffs. I got the Braves winning the National League East. Moving on to the National League Central, I really wanted to pick the Pirates not to be in last place, and I want to pick the Reds in last place because the Reds are doing a big fire sale. But damn, the rotation, Fangraphs has Jose Quintana as their freaking ace right now. Jose Quintana. He was a guy that Giants barely could stay on the roster. He was just there to kind of help out some spot starting when everyone else was hurt. Maybe some depth out of the bullpen, some long relieving, some mop-up work here and there. And he is listed as the ace. They do have Mitch Keller there as well. And, some decent arms in the bullpen. But I mean, come on. It's just the pitching just looks horrific. The pitching, the lineup is you got some Brian Reynolds, you got Key Brian Hayes, but there's talk of trading Brian Reynolds. I'm sorry, man. I just can't pick the Pirates to finish anywhere other than last place. I wanted to. I looked deep into their team. I'm like, could they possibly finish in fourth? Maybe the Reds will be last. No. The Reds will not be last. It will be the Pirates. And the Reds, a team that I picked to win the freaking World Series back in 2020, going into 2020. The Reds have decided they're done competing for this year. It has been a complete fire sale. And so they have shopped their starting pitchers. They have cut their payroll, and good luck to them in the rest in 23 and on. But 22, the Reds are not going to be competing. So we'll put them in fourth place. And in third, I am going to put the Chicago Cubs. It's actually fairly easy to predict some of these standings this year. I'm not going to lie, because it's just like the teams that are really trying. There are teams that are not trying. Reds, Pirates, they're going to end up in last. There are teams that have kind of had a fire sale recently, and they kind of added a little bit, but they're not really going for it. Well, they're in the middle like the Cubs, and then there's teams like the Cardinals and Brewers that look really good. But the Cubs, they got Seiya Suzuki. You got to give them credit for that. Is Seiya Suzuki going to suddenly turn his team into division champs? No. The rest of the roster is decent, but I don't think the Cubs are going to be good enough to compete with the Cardinals and the Brewers as far as, trying to win this division. The top two teams, Brewers and Cardinals, this year, I'm going to put the Milwaukee Brewers, despite their really good pitching rotation. Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta. I'm going to put them in second place this year. They have a strong bullpen. They're really good, but I really love the St. Louis Cardinals. They also improved their rotation. Steven Matz, they signed. They picked up Drew Verhagen. I've heard good things about him. He pitched really well in Japan. I think he's going to be good for them. Obviously, Adam Wainwright is back. They bring back the legend Albert Pujols. I think it's a sign, okay? I'm not saying Pujols is going to go and be an MVP, but I think it's a sign, okay? And you look at that lineup. Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill is legit. Nolan Arenado is legit. Yadi Molina's still there. Corey Dickerson they picked up. Paul DeYoung is really good. Harrison Bader. The list goes on and on and on and on. The Cardinals are stacked up. They're going to win the division. Moving on to the National League West, I'm going to start with the D-backs in last. The rotation, the lineup, just not good enough. And I will give Colorado, with the Chris Bryant signing, maybe that's not going to, again, one player doesn't make a huge difference, but it is Chris Bryant. And I do think that the Rockies, let's looking through their team, and they're decent. They're decent. They're not good on the road, but I think they're going to be really good at home. And I think they're going to win enough games to at least stay out of the cellar and finish in fourth. After that, okay, honestly, it wouldn't shock me if the Giants finish in third. It wouldn't shock me if they, were disappointing this year, even as a Giants fan, just because last year was just insane. And to expect anything like that again may be unreasonable. But that being said, just looking at the roster, I like this Giants team, and I do think they will compete again with the Dodgers to win the division. And the Padres, okay, you bring in Bob Melvin, that could help. But the Padres weren't even 500 last year, and they were supposed to be this amazing team. So they haven't really proven it yet. And then you have Fernando Tatis Jr. That can't be a good sign, getting hurt in the offseason, and he's going to be out for a while, until June or July. So I'm just going to say I believe I would predict this. Even if I wasn't a Giants fan, I believe I'd predict the Padres to be in third, and that the Giants and Dodgers are going to fight again for the division championship. I think I have to be honest and give the edge to the Dodgers just because this team is just insanely stacked. They're going to be good again. They're going to win over 100 games. They may win 105, 106 again, which tells me the Giants need to win 107 again. And I don't think it's reasonable to think that can happen again. The best hope for the Giants is that the Dodgers underperform and only win 94, 95, 96 games. And then the Giants might be able to win 97, 98, 99 and win the division. So I'm going to predict the Giants in second place. And remember, they add Carlos Rodon to that rotation. They really did a great job of restocking the rotation. And then you bring over Jock Peterson, which was pretty much their only move for an offensive player, only major move. But there's still a team that I like a lot. Again, is Lamont Wade going to be late night Lamont again? Is Brandon Belt going to hit 29 bombs again? Or is he going to be on the IL and hit 17? Remains to be seen. Is Crawford going to have another insane year? Maybe not. So I'll put the Giants in second. Dodgers are just too stacked. You add Freddie Freeman. You bring over Craig Kimbrell to take care of the only issue they might have had in the bullpen. And all of a sudden, this Dodgers team, I've talked about it at length, and I'm not going to continue to do that. Dodgers are absolutely stacked, absolutely insane, one of the best lineups of all time. And I love their youth, too. I think Edwin Rios is going to contribute. And what can you do, okay? The Dodgers are that good. I got them winning the West in 2021. Sorry, 2022. Now it's time to pick the wild cards. I'm just going to let you know the 3 wild cards in each league. So in the American League, I do have the Rays as a wild card team, and I have the Yankees as a wild card team. Those 2 in the same division, and I also have the Seattle Mariners as a wild card team. So the Mariners, Yankees, and Rays in the American League, and then over in the National League, I'm going to have the Giants, the Brewers, and the Phillies. I think it's just going to be straight down, one for each division. So the Giants, Brewers, and Phillies in the National League. Those are my playoff teams. Just to recap, the Jays, the Rays, the Yankees, the White Sox, the Astros, and the Mariners in the American League. And in the National League, I got the Braves, Phillies, Cardinals, Brewers, Dodgers, Giants as playoff teams. And now it's time to give my World Series matchup. So I'm not going to go through all the playoffs and everything like that, because I'll do that when the season ends and we actually know who's in the playoffs. I'm just going to predict the divisions, and as well as what I'm going to tell you now, the World Series matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the World Series as a matchup between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Toronto Blue Jays. This is my World Series matchup. I think that the Cardinals are, I just have a feeling about the Cardinals. I did last year, and I do again this year. I think they're going to do big things. I would love to see the Giants conquer and make it to the World Series, but this is just an unbiased prediction video. If I'm putting money, if I'm in Vegas, now I'll put money on the Giants too because I'm a fan, but if I'm putting money, I'm putting it on the Cardinals and the Blue Jays, and the winner of the 2022 World Series. And keep in mind, I picked it last year preseason. I said Braves. Braves won it. Before you insult, I think it's going to be a hard-fought series. A hard-fought series. The Toronto Blue Jays are winning it all. In 2022, the World Series title is going to Canada. And the Jays are the champions in 2022. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think down below. I got the Blue Jays as your 2022 World Champions, and I got the St. Louis Cardinals as the National League Champions. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun year, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Straight to the hole. I got no chance of ever making